Hello, Leo, and welcome to your April 2026 tarot card reading. So let's go ahead and dive right in here and see what comes through for you, Leo. What is it you need to know for April? Okay, so we start with Hanged Man and that Seven of Coins. All right, I'm kind of getting a very private energy. Like Leo is not wanting to be exposed. They're not wanting people to see what's going on. They don't want to share. Like, yeah, okay, you're the closest people to you, your family, your best friends, they will know. But for the most part, I feel like you're being very tight lipped about something. And I don't know exactly what that is, but I start with the Hanged Man. Usually, this card suggests a period of suspension, but I don't think you're currently in a period of suspension, or I don't think you will in April. I think this is perhaps maybe something you're coming out of. You're coming out of a period where things just sort of felt like they were lingering on, or there wasn't a lot of progress, or you were kind of feeling like there was never going to be any change, and you couldn't really control that, right? You couldn't really exert your will into the world to force change. It was just sort of a forced surrender to some degree. Now, usually when we're in a state like that, what's happening is that we're meant to come into a higher degree of understanding or a higher degree of consciousness. And sometimes that just takes time. So the universe sort of delays our progress or the events of things a little bit. But again, like I say, I don't think that that's happening moving forward. I think you're coming out of a phase like that. And you're being forced to make some decisions here with the Seven of Coins. What I like about the Seven of Coins is that it's just simply not an emotional card. It's very factual. It's where we look at what's right in front of us. We make decisions in a really black and white type of way. And we see what we've got, we see what we need, and we decide to make certain decisions to bridge the gap. You know, it's really rational. And I like the rational energy right now because I think we've had a lot of emotional energy over the years. And so we're kind of moving into this really fiery and airy place. And it just makes sense to be more straightforward with things. So, Seven of Coins, it sort of is what it is. Now, this is why these next two cards here, the Queen of Cups and the Hermit, this is why I feel like there's something private going on behind the scenes. This is something quiet, tight-lipped, something you don't want the whole world to know. Now, the Queen of Cups is all about self-care. She's about her intuition. This is a Cancerian energy. Okay, now I know you are Leo, and I'm reading for Leo, but you may be taking on some Cancerian qualities right now. Now, that would make sense, seeing as how we have Jupiter in Cancer in the 12th house still. It would make sense that you are kind of separating or pulling away a little bit and dealing with things in the realm of your sanctuary, whatever that might be. Queen of Cups, she sits quietly and she listens to what her next moves are. She listens quietly to what people are telling her. She processes things in her own time and she feels things in her body. Okay. She wants to know, how does this sit with me? Do I feel excited? Do I feel peaceful? Do I feel fearful? Like, what am I really feeling? And sometimes you need space for that. You need space to really tune in. So I hope that you are able to give yourself space, because I have a feeling that there are some big decisions on the line. And throughout April, you are being asked to take some risks. Now, April is Aries season, right? Aries season on into Taurus, which for you is ninth house and 10th house energies, or ninth and 10th house activation. And ninth house is all about expansion. 10th house is career and public life and all that. So it's interesting that you are sort of expanding in this quiet way first before kind of telling the whole world. But the Hermit says that there's going to be a really, the word that's coming to my mind is a dire need to be very quiet about things. Hermit is wise. Queen of Cups is wise. Queen of Swords is wise. So I do feel like you are acting in wisdom. You are acting in your highest good. I'm not afraid you're making any bad decisions. I'm not afraid you are, needing to do one thing but doing the other. There's no concern of mine here. I just feel like Leo is walking quietly in the shadows. And eventually you will emerge and be like, okay, this has been done. This is what I'm doing. And everyone will be shocked, completely shocked that Leo was doing this the whole time and nobody knew. So the Hermit is an application mechanism, right? Where he has the knowledge and he applies the knowledge. And you have the knowledge with the Hanged Man. You went through a significant period of time where you may have felt suspended or like you had no control, but it really was not about control. It wasn't about you making moves in that moment. It was about you understanding a little bit more about how the world works or how your situation was meant to unfold or whatever. So now it's different. Now you can act. And the wisdom usually acts very, very quietly. It's usually the quietest person in the room, right? And I do feel that you're not broadcasting anything. And with the Queen of Swords, what I love about her is that she is really objective, similar to the Seven of Coins. It's all objectivity, right? Objectively, what is the best next decision? Objectively, how do I proceed? She typically waits a while before making decisions because she wants more information. She likes to collect information and evidence, right? So when she is ready to make a decision, you can bet that she has plenty to feel certain about her next move. Okay, now this is you, Leo. This is you. It's all very cool, calm, collected. It's all very, very simple. There's no complexity here, at least not so far, not in the first part of April. I will tell you that on a totally separate note from anything I've just been saying, I am kind of seeing these queens sort of being back to back and there being space, which means that it is possible that you might need to take space away from someone or something, if it's like the workplace or something. Okay, hold on, let me grab a quick drink. I'm so sorry. My throat's been a bit scratchy today. So if you are needing to acknowledge that paths are separating and you need to take a little bit of space right now, you can, you should, because it's going to give you the space to really think and to really feel about the circumstance so you can navigate accordingly. Okay, so let's see, what else does Leo need to know for April? We have the High Priestess, another quiet card. Knight of Swords, not a quiet card at all. Hierophant, Knight of Wands, Three of Swords. Okay. So what I'm sensing is that Leo is very quietly getting the upper hand. Now, I don't know that you're necessarily in some type of power struggle. I mean, you might be, you may not be, but with Pluto opposite of you, it is possible that you are in some kind of power dynamic. But the words upper hand are coming to my mind. But getting an upper hand on someone that doesn't realize that you're doing it. Again, there's nothing sketchy here. It's just a matter of wisdom. You have the high priestess, which says that something is awakening within you. And of course, the Queen of Cups is going to like tune into that real quick, like little antennas, right? Tune in to what is being revealed. Now, the high priestess is really specific when she reveals, because she normally keeps things quiet in the underworld. Okay, she's the guardian of the underworld. So there's like this whole archive down there. But once in a while, she'll bring something up from the basement, so to speak, and say, this is something you need to know. This is something you need to access and process for what's coming next, right? There's usually a future focus with her. I know we don't normally talk about her in that manner, but there is a future focus with her because she typically reveals to help you prepare for what's meant to come next. So you're receiving information, and clearly Queen of Swords, right? You're receiving information here that is going to help you navigate the loud voices. Now I'm getting a couple of those. I'm getting the Knight of Swords, I'm getting the Knight of Wands. This might just be one person or one thing that is demanding something from you. It may be multiple things or multiple people, but either way, they are loud and clamoring and demanding, and they are weirdly weaker than you. Okay, and I say that because you're coming out with queens, you're coming out with a lot of major arcana, and like I say, you're making moves behind the shadows and quietly gaining the upper hand. And I think maybe it's because you are in that space, you're in that aura, that essence of the witness, where you can take a step back and witness other people and see a lot deeper in terms of their motives, right? So this person might be demanding something of you. Maybe they're angry. Maybe they are coming at you, trying to tell you what to do. But I think you look deeper and you say that person is scared. It's not about what they're demanding of you. It's really about the true origin of why they're feeling so frantic and why they are projecting their sense of urgency onto you. And I think you see it. I think you take that step back and you can separate yourself from what's being said on the surface and what's being demanded on the surface to why that person is in such a state, which even more so gives you the upper hand with the Hierophant, even that much more. Now, I think as quiet as this is, you somehow suddenly become this go-to oracle, the person that these people need advice from. They go from demanding to now seeking wisdom through you. They go from loud and clamoring to inquisitive. Now, you may not want to become this teacher, you may not want to become this channel or this oracle, and yet I think this is a natural role that you are meant to take on because of the life experiences that you have recently gone through and because of the mistakes that you don't want to make again. And because of the amount of healing that you have done and the amount of self-awareness that you have acquired. It's only natural that you would end up as some kind of teacher or mentor or guide or something along those lines. Again, maybe not even intentionally. Like you may not even realize that you're in that role until people start saying, oh, Leo is wiser than I realized, or they have more information, they have more to give than I realized. Now suddenly they need you. They were always demanding something of you. There were always this loud clamoring voices, but I do think that that energy will shift. Now, the Three of Swords is very interesting, and it feels incredibly out of place to me as I'm reading this. But I don't think this really belongs to you. I mean, to a degree, yes. I mean, maybe with the Hanged Man, there has been some loss. Okay. Recently, I think a lot of people went through a lot of loss with the Saturn Neptune conjunction. I know that's done and over with. I'm not trying to continue harping on it, but I think some people are still processing whatever has been lost and whatever destruction happened in their lives over the past year or so. And I don't know, like, I feel like on one hand, this might be yours, it might be theirs. I mean, I think we all share that Three of Swords. I think we all have something that is here and driving us and motivating us. But weirdly, I feel like that Three of Swords is the reason why you are able to be so wise and why you are able to deal with this kind of energy. Whereas before, now I'm not saying you weren't ever wise before, or I'm not even saying you played these games before, because maybe not, but these energies may have gotten to you before. The demands that they made, the lifestyle that they led, or whatever. Like, I don't know, maybe there was something about these people or these types of people that made you think that you weren't on the right track. But now you realize that their track was never yours. And I feel like this is an opportunity for you to really own your track. You own your path. You own your authenticity and your voice and your wisdom. And it feels like a whole new level. It feels like an elevation, like you are being elevated here in a really powerful way. Um, and I think it will surprise you. Now, I don't think that this heartbreak is happening to you this month. In fact, actually, I almost feel like that Three of Swords, like I say, it feels very out of place in this reading. And I'm wondering if this is not a moment in time at the end of the month. Now, this is Taurus season. This is when Uranus moves into Gemini. Okay. I wonder if you don't feel very distanced from your Three of Swords. Like you have this awakening moment where you say that Three of Swords feels so far back in the past, even if it wasn't, even if it was only a couple months ago. Maybe it feels so far back in the past, feels so much like a different life. So it's an opportunity for you to just fully detach from it. That might be what it is. We'll see what the clarifiers have to say. But all in all, I do feel like you are gaining an upper hand somehow in this. Not that you're in competition, but it just feels like you're making some moves that are positioning you very, very well. Okay? All right, let's pull out the clarifier. So for those of you who are new, we are going to clarify all these cards, and we're going to cover the clarifiers in the comprehensive reading. So if you want to join for that, you are more than welcome. The link will be in the description box and the comment thread down below. So let's see, Leo, what is it that you need to know for the Hanged Man? Let's see. Nine of Wands, Five of Cups, and the Page. Another Hanged Man, Sun, the King of Cups, Knight of Coins, Two of Coins, and the Emperor. Love the Emperor, very powerful. Another Hermit. Let's pull out three more cards. Another Seven of Coins, King of Wands, and Ten of Swords. Four of Coins, Seven of Cups, and Two of Cups. Now for the High Priestess. Wow, we're getting lots of doubles. So 3 more cards for that since we got a double. Strength, another Queen of Cups, Tower, Queen of Wands, 3 of Coins, 2 of Swords, 3 of Cups, Ace of Wands, and the Star. I love that Star so much. It's been showing up so much this month. The Moon, another Hierophant, and 8 of Swords. Now for this darn 3 of Swords, 8 of Cups, the Fool, and yeah, a lot of movement. 2 cards of movement on top of that 3 of Swords tells me that 3 of Swords feels you feel really separate from it. So, all right, Leo, this is where we're going to pick up. So if you want to join, you are more than welcome. Thank you so much. Hope you have an amazing month. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.